What's up, Jarrett?
What's going on, man?
Man, thank you so much for coming.
Uh,
Short notice,
I know,
but it's hard to get hold of you. You're a very busy man,
the.
so I'm glad that it worked out today. It's just like, hey, what you doing? And you're like, you want to come down? And I know you're heading out of town,
It's cool to be here. This is fun.
and you just did 3 movies back to back, right?
This year, yeah, three. It's it's been crazy. I mean, a lot of people, they say 2020, the terrible year. I mean, for me, for some reason, it was crazy and
One of your best years.
one
Same
of
here, same here, buddy. Yeah.
very ironic.
It
The
is.
world.
Yeah, I understand the people that there's a lot of people that suffered tremendously through 2020, and that's horrible,
Terrible.
terrible. But at the same time, I'm like, well, my year was amazing,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna be hard on myself for doing well.
No, exactly. I mean, it was a time where a lot of people were sort of afraid to make movies, go outside, or this and that. And I was people, I got hit up. They were like, "Hey, we we need to do a film, and are you like afraid to leave your house?" I'm like, "No, let's go make a movie." And it was just those situations when people were like, "Oh, I guess you know Jared, it doesn't is I'm just not going to be afraid. Of course, I take precautions and concerned, and I'm very glad there's vaccines and whatnot. But at the same time, I'm not very good at sitting alone doing nothing.
At home. Yeah,
Terrible. I'm a terrible quarantiner.
you'd go crazy. Yeah, I can tell.
I failed. I failed to properly quarantine, and instead decided
Make movies,
to make movies.
but then the movies, they get the COVID protocol and
Oh
everything's
yeah,
safe and masks and all that jazz. And
all that.
I wish it didn't take so long from the time we had the lockdown before the film industry figured out how to do safe film sets.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like anything else. Everyone was sort of figuring it out, and kind of by the time everything got sort of figured out, the vaccine rolled out, and now it was sort of timed out. But I'm glad that I read that the new infections are they're slowing down, and everyone, I know people that have gotten the vaccine already, and so looks like the world is on the right track for
Movie
once.
theaters are reopened,
Yeah,
40% capacity. Restaurants we can eat, dine inside now, and gyms are reopened. So
there you go.
yeah,
COVID's over.
yeah, fuck it. Yeah, fuck COVID.
Fuck COVID.
Yeah,
We we beat it.
that's right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Fuck. Survived.
Yeah, thank
And
God.
so I made a movie during pandemic where I was working. I worked on a movie we shot in Vegas during pandemic, and
Nice.
you did 3.
Oh man, more. Oh, that was
The
this
last
right
movie,
here.
the last movie, Reactor, Bruce Willis, did that shot in 2021 or 2020?
Well, I did a movie after Reactor too. But yes, that shot in 2021. Um, we shot that in February. I want to. Yeah, February. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was end of January to open of February, and then shortly after that, I did a thriller for my company
Hmm.
that we shot here in L.A. And yeah, very few people shooting in L.A. But coming back a little bit, but still mostly away.
Yeah. And so how many? What did you shot in 2020 during the pandemic?
Uh,
Well, I guess we're still in the
oh
pandemic,
man,
but
yeah.
the main year of the pandemic was 2020. What was the? I know you did
Hold
like
on, let
almost
me.
like 3 movies back to back, right?
Last year was a. I gotta have to. I think I did like 4 or 5 movies last year. I have to pull it.
Jeez,
I don't remember. I want to make sure
you get it right.
I get it right because
Hey, this is a proof of a working director, man. When you're doing so many movies that you don't remember.
you know I think I got like. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So last year you did Cheer for Your Life was that was a Lifetime movie. Deep Blue Nightmare, which is actually the same as Shark Season. That's very bizarre that.
Wasn't Shark Season the one you went shot in Florida?
Yeah,
Yeah, heard about that one.
I can't. It's listed twice. Wow. That's very bizarre. Killer Vice. Yeah, that was a Lifetime thriller.
Cool.
Um,
You got 43 credits as a director on your IMDb, man. That's impressive.
well,
That's impressive. That's okay.
there's a couple.
Take the compliment.
No, I'm saying there's a couple that aren't on there.
Oh, so there's more.
There's yeah. There's two. Yeah, there's two more completed movies. Three more completed movies that are not on IMDb. But subtract Deep Blue Nightmare because that's the same as Shark Season. Very bizarre.
So let's go back to the beginning of your career. How did you get started, man? As a director, did you always knew you wanted to be a director?
No, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Did you go to college for filmmaking or anything like that?
I did. I graduated. I got a BFA in filmmaking. Here, let me turn my phone back off so it doesn't do anything. I got a BFA in filmmaking in post-production from New York Institute of Technology, which very, very sadly, and I just found out their film program just got shut down. Unbelievable.
Why? COVID? Or not enough students?
Not enough. Yeah, can't believe it. It was, there was really good professors, and I mean, the school it's not a
film school.
It's not it's actually known for like engineers, and it's very technical, and bone osteo, whatever. It's architects and engineering and all that, but so the filmmaking approach was very technical. Sit down in front of a computer and learn After Effects was like one of the classes, which was sick because After Effects is sick.
Yep. Comes handy for sure.
It came very handy. Adobe is very greedy and charging
a lot of money
every month, and a lot of people are going to Resolve and Final Cut.
Yeah.
Mostly to Resolve.
Well, the Resolve's free.
Resolve's free. And and it's a great color program. And why wouldn't you go to Resolve? Because I've been doing Adobe for so long that, I'll have to learn Resolve one day.
Once you know the basics, I think it's pretty,
yeah.
The interface, once you get to know the interface, the
just,
possibilities are pretty much the same as Adobe or Final Cut, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been doing Adobe for so long, but I'll learn. Just gotta take, But yeah, it's greedy. Whatever.
Go back to your beginning, man. How did you get started?
So I was starting as a writer. I started writing and was doing acting, and then got involved.
Man, how old are you when you first started writing and acting?
Like 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
You started as an actor?
Started as an actor, writer. Yeah. I was. I wanted to write and do these little. I was doing these little skits, writing them and filming them. So it was like sort of. That was the origin, like just clowning around, and I had a roommate. So I went to Boston for like a year and a half after high school, and went for like communications, which obviously means you have no idea of what you want to do, because communications is like a pointless degree. Communications. I mean, not a pointless degree, but.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm laughing with you.
Yeah.
I got it.
Everyone's gonna hate me for saying that.
No, but, you're just trying to figure out what you're gonna
do next. It's like the liberal arts. Exactly. If you go to college for liberal arts, then you have no idea what you want to do. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You
just figuring shit out.
Yeah, you're figuring shit out. That's what they should call it. The
figuring shit out degree.
Yeah. FSO. Yeah. I got an FSO in communications. So I was studying my
Yeah.
worthless degree, and then
You've probably paid a lot of money for it.
yeah, no. Well, I didn't get my degree there, so they didn't squeeze me too hard. I got out because I had a roommate that was an actor, uh, and you know, he's still doing some stuff, and I went out to L.A. because he goes like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go to L.A. And I went out to L.A. and I was like, this is cool.
So you're a New Yorker. You were born in New York.
Yeah, I went to high school in New York, and
So you how old were you when you first came out to LA?
like 19 was
Same
the first.
around same time.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is in the beginnings.
Yeah, I went to Boston, did a year, but I did like a semester in LA when I was like, it was like some fake intern program that
What in LA? How to be fake?
yeah had to be fake. No, it wasn't fake. Actually, I did do a few different things at real companies, but on like the third half of it, third half, that doesn't make any sense. But on the second half, there was like at the third company, it was I just had to get someone to sign a piece of paper that said. But I was really like trying to figure out what the entertainment industry was about, and decided, all right, let me come out here and
Pursue this.
not really knowing shit. Not I knew one person. I didn't know shit. I had a script that I had written, like not even properly formatted, like just, you know, bush league. And I got I got my ass kicked because I didn't know shit. Which I think, you know, when you don't know anybody or whatnot, it sort of makes sense. But yeah, I got my ass kicked anyway. So yeah, I just grinded and
When did you decide, or what was the point where you were like, yeah, fuck it. When did you first decide like this is a career? This could be a career. This could be not only a paying, but this is something I want to do kind of for the rest of my life.
Well,
because you were an actor, but when did the transition happen to a director? Because you were tinkering with some video camera, you were making little videos and things like that. But then like, when was the point where you're like, I want to take this seriously? I want to write scripts and I want to direct my films. And
well, I was probably, I mean, man, I was probably after being in LA for 5 years, 6 years, I had sold sold my first script that I wound up taking a producer credit on, and wound up doing some helping out with the directing, with, you know, and that
is that a feature?
is a feature. Yeah, it was
was this your first feature that you written, or
yeah, first one.
And you sold it?
And I sold it.
Congratulations.
Well,
doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, but I acted in that one, and helped produce and helped her. You know,
what was the movie called?
Legend Has It.
Legend Has It.
Yeah. Way back in the day, it was like a werewolf creature that like slasher, and I was like the stoner dude, and I get I get fucking killed. It was nothing
Where
too.
did you guys distribute it? Where is it, on like Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything?
Man,
can you watch it somewhere?
I don't even know. That's a good question. If maybe, you know, maybe then it's probably
somebody in the audience will dig it up and figure out how to watch it.
It should be on whoever has
it's on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah.
Oh wow. There you go.
We got young Tori here.
Good. All right. So yeah.
He's the answer guy.
Who knows who would get the prop? Whoever's this. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Wow.
Jared Cohn. Yeah, right there you are, buddy.
Writer.
So you sold your first script. You kind of helped the director on it, took a producer credit on it.
Yeah,
and that was like a fuck. I can do this.
Yeah. That was the movie that sort of that got me interested in
2009.
2009. Yeah.
Okay, where did you go next? What was next?
Um,
Like not necessarily in chronological order, maybe like the big step next for you. What was the?
I think the next one was this one called Born Bad. It wasn't originally called Born Bad, but that was the first sort of real movie I would say that I did. That was for the Asylum.
For what?
The Asylum, the company. Shout out, they did Sharknado, and they do so many movies. They've been in the business. They're almost 30 years. Those guys are awesome.
What was the budget on that?
Man, I would say about $500,000.
Nice.
So there it is, right there. But that was a great, man. I had so much fun on that movie. That was.
Was this your like first major directorial debut?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I directed like 2 things before it, but it doesn't really count.
Have you ever done any like shorts or festival type movies to get yourself out there as a director? Or
yeah.
How did you? So talk about how did you get to the point where people would have trust in you to direct a $500,000 feature film?
So I did movie before this. It was called The Carpenter. And I put that one on YouTube so that you can. That's for anyone to see. And after Legend Has It, I took out all my money and asked my family for a few extra bucks, and I was like, hey, I want to make a movie. I want to make a feature-length movie. And I did The Carpenter, which I wrote, directed, and played a part in as an actor. And produced. Yeah, I
AD'd and crafted and
fucking everything. Yeah, like I did everything. I didn't really know this is actually before I went to film school. I went to film school actually in between Carpenter right here, and right after I graduated film school, I went and did Born Bad.
Okay. So there was a pause between, and
yeah, I went back.
So on a Carpenter, you didn't really know much shit about filmmaking.
I got my ass kicked on this one. And I mean, I would say I even got my ass kicked, quite a bit on Born Bad. But in a good way. Like, got my ass
learned a lot.
Yeah, like
on the fly, quickly. I have to adapt.
Well, I mean, I just finished film school. I did I did 2 features in film school, which was kind of interesting. I forgot about one of them. Yes. But when I showed up on Born Bad, and with the seasoned AD, DP, and like full crew, I was, got my ass kicked because, and I had stars. I had working, name actors, and so of course.
You were still very green.
Very green. I was fucking green as what everyone thinks the other side of the road looks like, right?
Yes, sir. I understand. I hear you.
I was trying to tie that in with the grass is always greener, but I fucking failed.
But I understood.
Yeah. I felt like there was an understanding, but it was also an understanding.
Grass is always greener, and next door. Yeah, I got it.
But sometimes the grass really is greener.
Yeah, and like you said, you got your ass kicked, but in a good way, right?
I got my ass kicked in a good way because, I mean, it was the only way. It was like.
Do you remember something specific that you learned on each of those movies that kicked your ass? Like something that you could. So just so you know, so the main reason for this podcast is for the audience that's at the point of the starting line to becoming a filmmaker or getting into it, considering it, or maybe they're a few years into it and they're looking for the next step.
Yeah.
So anytime we can touch on anything that you would like, hey, you know, this was a really eye-opening situation or something that really helped me move forward, take it to the next level. Because your latest movie you just shot, you know, starred Bruce Willis. So, you know, that is, you got 40 plus, you know, directorial credits. And I'm like, you're a working director. So I think there's a lot of people would love to hear some of those processes that you've.
Yeah. No.
You know, so anything you can.
There was one, I got one thing that really stung. There was one moment, early on, this was before Born Bad, and on one of my very, very first movies that I was directing, and I was also acting in it. This is when I was like, before I was like, all right, let me focus on directing, because and I joke sometimes saying, you know, I'm a failed actor turned director, which, you know, there's, you know, it's a joke, but, you know, there's definitely some truth to it, you know, and you know, but at the same time, like, you know, I still occasionally do some acting, like, for like shits and fucking, you know, and giggles. I played 2 roles in the Bruce Willis movie, little bad guys, you know.
You got shot or
yeah,
something?
I got shot, and then one time I had a bandana on, I got shot again, or kneed in the face or whatever. But I was doing this movie, and I was acting in it, and it was like, I didn't really know shit, and someone was basically like nobody knew what the fuck was going on. I was doing a poor job directing it, because there was no, and someone was basically like, out of frustration, said like, dude, you're not, like, even, you know, you're not directing this movie, or in like a, like, and I was like, I realized, like, yeah, you know, to be like the director, you have to, like, sort of, you know, take charge. Yeah. And that's something that, you know, took some time, and
swallow your pride a little bit.
Yeah. It just, it wasn't about, I think it wasn't really about swallowing pride. It was more
like deciding you can do one or the other, but 2 at the same
time.
Yeah.
It was more like, hey,
yeah, I can
right.
imagine a starting director and acting in the movie at the same time. Yeah. That could be difficult.
You know what? And a lot of people do it, and you know, there's nothing wrong with it. But I will definitely say, you know, if you want to be an actor, and, you know, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna make a movie, and then I'm gonna direct it, and I'm gonna produce it. I mean, unless you have some experience, like, you know, and a good team. I mean, which is totally, if you have a great script and a great, you know, team behind you, DP, AD, and crew, whatever, and cast, your movie will probably turn out, you know, just fine. Because, you know.
Yeah, you get all these other talented people that can push forward and pick up slack wherever you are, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you got a good team, and that's just, you know, universal. Is, you know, if you have a good team, very, very important, because, you know, your DP is gonna be, you know, what the movie looks like, and your AD is gonna make sure you get the movie done, and hopefully work, you know, be on your side and get the shots you need to get, to tell your movie, but tell your story. But, yeah, I mean, I prefer, you know, if I'm going to direct, I'm not going to act, or, I mean, I'll do a cameo, something fun, but,
like get your, head kicked with a knee or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Get shot.
And I don't do it in every movie. I know.
Yeah, a little cameo is fun. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I know. Like, oh, do you cameo in every movie? No, every like once every 5 movies.
So then that was like the very beginning, and then when you moved on, the other 2 movies, like the one before film school and the after one, and going forward, what's like the number one thing that in the beginning as a director, starting director, that you learned that was like a hard lesson that you were like, you wish you knew going into it?
Man, there's just, it's really a road of like a million little lessons. You know, it's hard to say like one shift.
Say a couple if you like, whatever comes to your mind.
I would say learn, you know, the technical aspects very, you know, of, so you can communicate with your DP. Learn like scheduling stuff and learn that so you can, you know, communicate with your AD, and learn, you know, acting to some extent so you can communicate with your actors. So it's like, it's kind of like those 3. You should be able to do somewhat. I mean, you're not saying you have to be able to like light a scene yourself and you know, do a know how to use, you know, movie magic or synchronize yourself. You don't. I mean, but you should know. You should, as a filmmaker, be able, you know, as the director, be able to talk to the technicians and the specialists on, you know, because every department has their you know, their sort of the jargon, you know, the scripties and their software, and, you know, and light, you know, different lighting and camera package it, like what lens you want to shoot the scene on. You know, do you want to put it on a steady cam? Do you want to shoot it handheld? Do you want
sticks,
dolly, a techno crane, drone? I mean, you can shoot it. You can shoot a scene a million different ways. There's no wrong way to shoot a scene. I mean, people will
fuck up.
Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can fuck up. Like if you're shooting, like, there's basic shit. Like if we're shooting a scene, you know, if you cross the line, and here's the thing, like, once you know the line, you can cross the line in the shot. But there's like, if you're doing basic coverage, like, don't cross the line. That's right, because that's looks like a fuck up.
Yeah. So basically, if I can sum it up, is like, learn your craft, some of the basic lingo and tech terminology, and so you can communicate with your department heads and tell them what you want. Yeah. And what you want them to do. And exactly, you know, so they can understand your vision better, so you can explain it to them in a terminology that they will understand.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and engage, you know, because if, you know, let's say you're directing something and you're working with a company you've never worked with before, and they have their art department, you know, and their DP, and you're sort of gun for hire, as many directors will be, you know, and you don't always get to pick your, you know, people think, oh, well, you're the director, you get to cast the roles. Not true. Like, whoever, like, this is maybe in Hollywood a long time ago, or if you have the prestige and, you know, the name, and you know, but oftentimes you'll be hired and you know,
the script is locked.
Cast
has been cast.
Yeah, or I mean, or even if the cast isn't locked, you know, you got a bunch of producers on there. You may say, hey, I really liked so and so for this role, and they're like, great, that's cool, we like this person, we're gonna go with them. And it's like, the producers have the ultimate say. And that's why, you know, lately for the last, you know, few years, I've been fortunate enough to be producing movies. And that's actually, you know, that's where the real power decision is in, you know, when you're producing, because the producer hires a director, therefore the producer can fire the director. So, play nice. There's a lesson for the upcoming. Be respectful to the producer, because it's their money. And at the end of the day, it is it is a business. Yeah.
It's a business. It's show business.
It's show business, and unless it's your money. But at the same time, if you're a good filmmaker and you do your style and you get the film done, be creative. Take, you do, like, make it your own.
How often do you run into the situation where it's not up to you to like pick your cast and make adjustments in the script and things like that? Would you just say it like 50-50 or?
You gotta really, pick your battles. You'll sort of know, like, like usually with, the star names, like you're not really going to get much input because they know what actor or actress or actor for both actor and actress, is going to sell the movie. So
yeah,
it's a business plan. We got to have, so and so in the movie. They're in the movie, or the movie comes attached with that person before the director's even put on, because that's, unless you're a big name director,
that's what's going to sell the movie.
Yeah, it's not going to sell the movie that Jared Cohn is directing the movie.
Yeah, let's talk about this for a little bit. That's a good point. So we kind of jumped from, so you've, from some of the movies that you were learning on, and then I'm kind of, you took it one movie at a time,
Yeah.
It was. You've been writing still.
Writing. I actually sent off a script today. I've been, for the last few weeks, I've been writing it's action picture, and it's a tough one to write. I mean, writing is hard, not because it like is it's just hard because it's a lonely job. But now that things are opening back up again, I do, like, I used to like make fun of people that go to like Starbucks and write, but after like writing,
and after COVID, everybody's gonna be.
I'm just like,
I'm going to Starbucks to write.
I can't fucking wait to go to Starbucks and write. But actually, yeah, but Whole Foods has a fucking bar and restaurant, and like it's amazing, and like it's like so dope. I'm like, I'm gonna come here. I went there the other day. And that's off topic, but shout out to that.
Shout out to Whole Foods.
Shout out to Whole. I was like, I'm gonna have my fucking birthday party here. It was so dope. Like, I've never seen it. It's a bar, full blown bar inside of Whole Foods.
So you keep writing, you keep making movies, you keep learning, you keep growing as a director. And when did you realize that people looked at you as a director in a way that, like, you get a call and say, hey, this is Michael. Is this Jared? Yeah, what's up? We have a script. We have the funding. We'd like to offer you the director role. Like, what was the breakthrough? What did you do, or what was the turning point to where you became a director for hire?
I mean, it wasn't, it's still every movie, even though there's been 40 something plus. Every movie is different, and yeah, I've gotten that call just a few times where it's like, we're so and so, and so and so told us about you. We want to hire you. Like, that's still rare. Like, usually you're like in content. You find out about something, you take a couple calls, and then you're in contention for it. And I've had a lot, probably more movies than I've made, probably fall through, versus like projects that have actually happened. It's just that, there's been so many of those, like, I couldn't even tell you the name, and then when early on and this is some advice right here, like, early on, there's gonna be a million everyone's got a project, and this guy's got 9 scripts, and he knows a billionaire, and the other guy has a friend who has money, blah blah blah. And I ran around just taking meetings and like just that went nowhere, and some of them went on and on for over a year or years, and
it just didn't go anywhere.
It just didn't go. I mean, that said, like Reactor, the Bruce Willis one, I wrote that script originally 8 years ago, and it went through. So I rewrote the shit out of it, and was running around with that script forever, and finally, had a, someone do a good rewrite, someone else do a rewrite on it, and took it around, and that's what got it going. So like, don't give up.
So you had a script you wrote 8 years ago, which you just shot like a month ago with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And which is amazing, by the way. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
But it took years and years of running around with that script. Then you probably put it in a drawer for some time, right?
Yeah.
Worked on a bunch of other things in between.
Yep.
At what point did you how often do you go to like some of your older scripts and like brush them off? And
yeah, I'm done. I mean, there's a couple of ones that I might brush off, but
you moved on to new things.
You know what? Like, there's a couple of scripts that I probably should have written something new for, because that's something you write a script, and you put, at some point when you're writing it, you've put in your, a lot into it, heart and soul. I hate to say heart and soul into, but at some point that script was your baby. And then if, time goes on, let's say you've shopped that script, some people told you the script was good, and you might have taken some meetings on it, but now you're writing other scripts, time gets on, you become better. Like, you've made some movies, maybe, like, that script is dated now, and it's, how much is that of your baby? You probably feel obligated to get the movie made, because
all the work and effort you've put into it, writing it.
You want to, so I used to say, I'm gonna shoot every fucking script I've written, and then I wound up doing a script, an older script, and it didn't. I was like, not very pleased. I was like, oh man, the script should have, could have been rewritten. It could have been better. And now I look at my old scripts as just, they're right where they should be, as a fucking PDF in my outbox, a long time ago. I'll search for the stuff if I ever want to dig something up, but
there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
How did you dig up? So let's jump right into it. How did you dig up the Reactor after 8 years? Like, who did the rewrite? How did that was brought up? And you're like, did you meet somebody and they're like, hey, I have this script and maybe you could do a rewrite on it, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, that one actually I kept rewriting because I believed more in that one, because I written the first draft, and there was some interest, right? And they were like, all right, here's some notes, like, and then it kept getting strung along, like different producers were sort of dangling different carrots, and I would rewrite it for this, and then I'd put a budget together for this person, and then do this for that, like do 9 character breakdowns, and set the movie, and like the movie had different settings and different character names and plots, like, and then finally, I mean, like, I had met with Cam Cannon, who's a G. He's an amazing writer. He was the head of development at Hannibal. It was a pretty big company, and they were interested in the script, and Cam, how did
you guys meet?
We met at Hannibal through a mutual friend.
And you said, I have this script.
Yeah, and the funny thing, actually, speaking of that story, is during that particular meeting, in that original meeting, we came up with this other idea, that, because it went so off topic, that one of the people at the meeting was like, oh, no, let's not do that. I'm thinking I'm there for this meeting, for this project. And then we started talking about this other, like, MMA type movie. And then I came up with a treatment, after that meeting. It was just sort of that meeting itself. You would think, like, after the meeting, you're like, oh my God, what was that about? But because of that, I met Cam, and and Reactor happened, and kicked around this treatment that I wrote into a script, completely unrelated. So yeah.
How did Cam find out about the script and the opportunity of rewriting it?
I think I just harassed Cam
to harass him into doing the rewrite.
I harassed him into doing the rewrite, and thank you, Cam, for doing the rewrite. And he did a great job, and it was one of those things. I actually stopped after I read Cam's rewrite. I stopped writing for a while. Because I was like, I am never going to be as good of a writer as Cam. And then it wasn't until so I started writing again. I don't know why.
Probably itch to write something.
Yeah, it was just kind of an itch. I kind of just was like, you know what, I'm gonna write something, and then I wrote something, and then it got received well, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna write again, and then I just finished I finished the script today, which was ironic because I've been working on it for a while, but it's hard to write, man. It was just this one was hard to write.
So when you harassed Cam into rewriting the script, he took some time. This is what, 2020 he finished the script?
Man, that must have been like 2018.
Okay.
2018. Yeah, he had.
So with the rewrite, new interest spiked over at Hannibal?
Well, it was with another producer who was going to do it, but he couldn't do it for some reason. I'm not sure. And then another producer got on board, and it sort of got passed along. And during that passing along process, I was like, oh fuck, this is not going to happen. I was pretty much convinced that it was not going to happen, because it was just, things just kept falling apart. Like, this thing, the money didn't come in, or this guy isn't litany of reasons, and who knows what really happened.
What would you say is the percentage? I'm listening you talking about this. What would you say, as a director who've put so many things under your belt, is the percentage of the things that actually do get made versus the percentage of the things that just get off the table?
I mean, it depends on who you are and where, and what level you're at. But in the beginning, like, very little. In the beginning, when the less people and the less time you sort of, grinded. For me, at least, and obviously there's some people that hit home runs all the time, but it's sort of an arc. As the more stuff you do, like, the more of like a bullshit radar you have, and someone will come to you with a project, and you'll be like, well, is it financed or this? Oh, okay, no, this is just a waste of time. Like, so, but early on, when you're eager and excited, and someone says they have a project, you're excited, and you're meeting and doing notes and scripts and rewrites and it's like, you gotta go through that sort of process
to learn to weed out the bullshit from the real stuff.
Yeah, like, you're gonna meet people along the way, or at least and they're just gonna steer you. They're just like distractions, but they're lessons, because but at the same time, you can't rule anybody. Part of you feels like, well, maybe this thing will be different this time, or like, I my gut tells me red flags, but you know what? Like, I don't have enough other shit so it's like, this is at least experience, at least I'm doing so it's better to do something than nothing, but at the same time, it's also, you can't be obsessed, and sometimes it's good to just take a fucking break, go for a hike, go visit your family, and like,
come back to it with fresh eyes.
Exactly. Like
it seems like the Reactor is a prime example of where like you were thinking, well, it's probably not going to happen, and it did happen, and you got Bruce attached, and
yeah,
you know
that was so great. I mean, it was great that Reactor happened because I was talking. It was like it became one of those things where I was like, you talk to some people and like they have their script, and every time you talk to them, like, and not, I'm not saying I was this person, but like after a while, if someone's talking about the same thing over and over and again for a long time, it's like, dude, you've been talking about this thing forever, like,
yeah,
like yeah,
like you hear the stories. What was the Christian Bale Mark Wahlberg movie? What was that?
Fighter.
Fighter.
The Fighter.
Yeah. I think they were trying to make that shit for like 10 years or something like that too.
I mean,
DiCaprio, Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah,
trying to make it for what, 10 years?
Yeah, there was a bidding war between Brad Pitt's company and Leo's and Martin Scorsese, and yeah, it was a good 10 years for that.
Wow.
So even some of our favorite kind of pop culture movie that recently came out, like a lot of people don't realize, like it takes sometimes a decade to bring something like that to the screen.
You know what? And don't give up on it. I mean, and rewrite it. Like,
I mean, if you have a script and there's a bidding war on it, you have something good. That's good.
Yeah.
But so, all right. Yeah. So after the rewrite with what's your brother's name again?
Oh, Cam Cannon.
Cam Cannon. Shout out to Cam Cannon again.
Yep.
You get the rewrite and you're like, this is great. Then you guys take it around town, or did you take it around town?
Yeah, I mean, I was I was taking it around town like
with the rewrite. You were excited, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was excited, and it still got passed on by a bunch of people.
So who's the final break? Who got hooked? Who kind of like went, all right, let's look at this closer.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the producer that came through, was Corey Large. He
what production company is it? Corey?
308.
308
up in Canada. Shout out to Corey.
And he said, "I like the script. I'm gonna get made."
Yeah, he was the one who's like, I got it. Got it done.
So you had script, and then you got Corey attached.
Yeah.
And then at what point?
I mean, there was some other players along the way, but Corey ultimately, was the one that came through and with his team and made it happen. Shout out to Corey Large.
What's the next step in the process of some movie at this stage? Now you have a producer who's saying, well, we want to make this movie. We're going to find the funding for it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the next thing was to look for an actor level.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people don't know this, but there's actors in around the world, and they have a certain financial value to the picture on the business side. How much they, if the budget of the movie is a certain amount, what can this actor sell it to in foreign sales, domestic sales, right?
Yeah.
So you guys start looking at actors that can sell the picture, basically.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
did you look at anybody else other than Bruce? Bruce Willis, by the way, just throwing it out there.
Bruce was Bruce and Corey have a great relationship. So
he sent him the script.
It was sort of hey, this project might be right for Bruce. So
so right from the bat, when Corey was involved, you knew Corey was also going to bring on Bruce.
Yeah.
And Bruce and Corey worked on something before?
Oh yeah. Bruce and Corey have they just did another one. Bruce and Corey has done a lot of I'm not sure how many, but him and Bruce have worked together quite a bit.
So, okay, so there was a relationship there.
Yeah,
which always is kind of the key to everything.
It's always the key. It's a relationship business. It's not who you know, it's who knows you, and who's willing to go to bat for you, because you may know somebody a long time, and just because you know them doesn't mean yeah, there it is right there, American Siege.
That's the one that Corey worked on with Bruce, other than the Reactor.
Okay.
Yeah. Edward Drake, yeah. He just directed also another one, Gasoline Alley.
Oh yeah, I saw that up there too with Corey.
Yeah, they just finished that.
All right, so you get the news. Corey calls you and says, "Hey, Bruce read it. He's in."
Yeah, that was
celebrating. Like
it was celebrating
a small victory, right?
Here's the thing: it's always you can never really celebrate because it's always like, hey, we got Bruce, but it's not so you get excited, but it's like it's not official. Like nothing has been signed. There's been no dates, so you're like, okay, I'm excited, but you've learned because you've been in this situation before, and you have celebrated, and then it fell apart.
Yeah, and anything can happen. Yeah.
And then you feel like a dumbass, so you're like, the next time, well, you're like, wow, okay, well,
that's great, but I'm gonna wait until it's official.
And then there's enough like, well, it's almost gonna happen. All right, we're shooting in November, and then you're like, great, we're shooting in November, and then it's like, you don't hear anything. It's like, we're shooting in December. It's like, okay, and then
who's telling you this?
Just
like the producers.
Different, and it's no one's fault. Like because it's always because there's scheduling, this actor, that person, and this, and it's just the nature of the industry. So by the time you like get your shoot dates, you can't really celebrate because they could possibly change. So by the time it actually I'm always like, you know what? I'm not gonna believe it's happening
until you're on set.
Until I'm on set
and the camera's rolling.
Yeah. And then even then,
you can get shut down and like, fuck. Okay, what the fuck's going on?
It's like you really can't celebrate until you wrap the fucking movie, or actually,
it's edited and delivered, right? Because I've seen movies get all the way as far as being shot and never seen.
Oh well, I'll tell you, my Lynyrd Skynyrd movie, we shot that and we got sued by the estate, and the movie was banned on a federal level for years, until we had to appeal in appellate court and be able to have the movie be able to come out. Like that was a fucking nightmare.
You got the money. You actually, I met the producer, financier, super nice guy.
Yeah.
Owner of
Pastor. Shout out to Brian.
Shout out to Brian for making movies.
Yeah.
Jumping from the record label business to Brian was such a nice guy. I met him at the premiere.
Yeah, he's a cool. He's a cool.
Let's make more movies, Brian.
Yeah, Brian. Let's do it. I was at his office this week.
He's got something cooking.
Brian is. That is a true American
entrepreneur.
I mean, he started selling T-shirts in high school, band T-shirts in high school, and now he runs, one of the most successful independent record labels. So shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to Brian. And so, hold on. So where were we? You got sued?
Yeah.
For,
in this movie, yeah.
For Street Survivors?
Oh yeah. I mean,
by the estate of Lynyrd Skynyrd?
Yeah. Yeah, they sued the shit out of us. And they won. Those fucking bastards won. And when I say those bastards,
let me ask you something. So you got the financier, you got the script, you shot the movie. At what point was it like somebody came and says you can't release this movie, or did it even get released and then taken down, or what happened?
No, they so the Lynyrd Skynyrd that still exists today is like a tribute band. Like there was only one, we were working with the drummer who was on the plane, and we were telling his story, and he has a beef with
the rest of the band.
No, it's really just one lady. And when I say those bastards, I'm not talking about anyone. I'm talking about this one lady, who's Ronnie Van Zant's ex-wife.
Who now owns the rights to the estate.
Yeah, and she's just a money. Look, I'm not gonna hate on her because look, we went ahead, we made a movie, and she has a beef with Artemis Pyle, who's a great guy.
That's the drummer.
That's the drummer. He's a great dude, and his band actually, the Artemis Pyle band.
So you came to him and say, we want to tell your story."
Yeah,
and so what was the what were the grounds for their case to say, hey, you can't tell this story if the drummer says, hey, you can tell my story, if it was his point of view?
Yeah, exactly. And that was the whole issue. The whole thing was that he signed a document that said he can't make a Lynyrd Skynyrd movie to exploit Lynyrd Skynyrd, make blah 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 blah. But we're like, no, we want to tell your story.
Did you know that this document existed before you guys start shooting the movie? That he signed something that like...
We sort of assessed that, and we took that risk, calculated risk. Brian really took, he financially took the risk, but the movie's doing great. I mean, the movie's killing it. It's probably my most successful movie, I would say, in terms of numbers, whatever. But
yeah, so the movie, just a quick summary, is a story of the band Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah,
and they had a crazy, tragic plane crash, right?
Yeah, plane just went down.
And they took a plane of another band. What's the story? Somebody else.
Aerosmith, yeah.
Aerosmith was supposed to be on that plane, right?
Yeah, I mean, Aerosmith was looking at the plane, and they were like, they took one look at the plane, they were like, no, this plane is falling apart. Like, go rent it out to some other suckers, is what somebody said from Aerosmith. And of course, they rented it out,
and the plane went down.
And then the plane fucking went down, and it was crazy. I mean, being on a plane crash is fucking terrifying.
Was the drummer on set when you guys were shooting some of the crash scenes and was he kind of like reliving the...
He came on set for a few days, and yeah, he really helped me out with like the details. I mean, it was at the same time I did a lot of
research.
I did a lot of I knew so my brain is fucking terrible, so I forgot, but at one point I just knew so much about Lynyrd Skynyrd, and I was working with this rock and roll historian, Dean Goodman, who wrote a book, and I was having these great conversations, like super duper.
Who brought the project to you? Brian.
Brian.
How do you know Brian?
From another producer that I worked with a few times.
Connections, the network. The magic of network.
It's always, and it's good people help me out, and so, well, I mean, it's usually a mutual thing because nobody really. It's almost like people trying to get projects together, and if you could bring something to the table and become an asset, then you can sort of sit at the table for this project. So it's always this. Well, if you can help out in this way, I'll help out in this way. Da 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 da. So it's a lot of give and take,
Yeah.
And
you gotta give to receive.
Exactly. You gotta make introduction. Like if you make a lot of introductions, chances are
somebody will introduce you.
Someone's going to introduce you. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't play your, relationships so close to the chest that
you're not willing to share.
Yeah, you're not willing to share. You're very protective and guard. And like, it's important to be protective and guarded too. But at the same time, like what you put out there is reflecting of what you'll gotta go. How you get back or something.
Hmm. What would you say? Well, so this was released. We went to the premiere last year, right? When did you shoot this movie?
Yeah, I think we shot that movie in like 2017. It was the legal battle that held it up. Yeah. I mean, if you Google like street survive, the name of this movie and legal
Let's plug it, man. Plug it. So Street Survivors, directed by Jared Cohn.
Oh yeah.
Right, written by you, buddy.
Written by me. Yeah.
A great movie. Great premiere.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Pascal. Shout out to Pascal. Who DP that. He won awards.
Pascal Skynyrd.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Oh, Pascal shot this?
Yeah, Pascal.
Oh.
Yep.
Pascal was the DP on this.
Do you want me to play the trailer? Or?
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah. And don't forget to put the sound on.
That's not it, but I mean, yeah, a little ad.
Oh man, dude, good.
I know, right? We did that.
Some serious.
That was me. I had the blue suit on.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah. Is that the flight controller lady?
Oh, round edges, huh?
Oh yeah, we'll cut that out. We're gonna have to because of the commercial. Click on the screen. Just click.
Something that should have
and then
happened,
click. Yep.
but it did. There have been
It's better, Tori. Next time she just find. I
and
think go to
accounts of
YouTube
this
and just
story,
search thing on the YouTube.
But I was there.
Shout out to Brian again.
Hello, Ronnie?
Yeah, I've been meaning to call you.
We came up with this idea. We're gonna bring out 5 sets of drums and 5 drummers. Have ourselves a little drum off.
What's going on?
I gotta go to Atlanta, baby.
Atlanta?
Yeah, trying out for Skynyrd.
Being the drummer of Lynyrd Skynyrd every day on the road was a hilarious adventure. We knew these songs backwards and forwards so well that we only had to think about how hard we wanted to hit it.
I'm the co-pilot. All I've ever dreamed of doing is flying a big rig with rock stars. After this, I'll be able to die a happy man.
All right.
Not what was coming next.
We need an airport. We are running low on fuel and just about out of it.
Bringing back memories.
Yeah, I haven't seen this trailer in a minute.
Ronnie, what are you doing?
Love you guys.
I always love movie trailers.
It didn't feel
I
like
do.
the end of the world.
I can
at
watch
the time.
trailers just like.
Yeah,
So we're watching movies.
We're gonna
Sometimes
go
let's just
on.
go through and then just watch trailers.
Yeah.
We're gonna be survivors.
Some movies I'll watch the trailer and I'll be like, I'm good on this.
How long did it take before they got discovered?
This is more than
what
a
do you mean?
story about
After the
plane
crash.
It's
Oh.
about the music.
Well,
Rest-
he had to run
of
out and
Lynyrd
get
Skynyrd,
help, so
the
it
greatest
was a
southern
good,
rock band of
it
all
was a
time.
good few hours, couple hours.
Very cool, man. Congratulations. Amazing. Good job.
Thank you.
But you shot it,
Then we got
from
fucking
script and
sued,
everything,
yeah.
and then you got sued, and then the movie actually didn't see the light of day for 3 years.
Yeah, I had to give a deposition in New York, and they fucking grilled me, these attorneys, and they were trying, and they were.
So they won first, and then they
Yeah.
lost the second time in the appeal.
Yeah. They were throwing my name in the mud, around the mud, in their fucking court documents. It got ugly for a minute. They froze Brian's bank account. It was really just fucked up.
Well, it's just another story from the industry,
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
things you can be aware of going
mean,
forward on anything.
When you have a movie in court and you're like, you're trying to get the movie out there because you're like, all right, this is a good movie, I think. Yeah, sucks. It's a terrible feeling, but I mean, got a lot of good press out of it. So
Yeah, what's the word? There's no
Yeah,
such
there's
thing
no-
as a bad press.
yeah, nowadays I think that expression is
Gone.
gotta be gone.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean, every cancel culture, Me Too, every press. That's not good press.
Yeah, no.
You don't want that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's true. 100%.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Reactor. So you got Corey attached. Corey had a relationship with Bruce. You wrote the script. Then there was a rewrite done by one more time.
Oh, Cam
Cannon. So now you guys sitting pretty solid, but you're not getting your hopes up. You're like, I'm not gonna believe this shit until Bruce or we're on set, we're filming when it's happening.
Yeah.
What did the budget landed with Bruce attached?
I mean,
do you know what the budget was?
It was pretty decent. I mean, it was, I'll say between 6 to 10.
Yeah, I heard it was like somewhere around 7.
Yeah, it kind of landed around. I mean, the thing is, like,
post and everything,
post deliverables, E&O, and
language, and dub.
There's so many more, and that's another thing. It's a great. There's one thing to make a movie; it's another to deliver a movie. Delivering people in film school or professor or someone doesn't teach the importance of being able to deliver a movie, because let's say you've made a movie.
Talk about it a little bit. Yeah. So what does it mean, deliver a movie?
So so let's say you have a movie, it's fully done, color corrected, the sound is designed, you have a link on Vimeo or private YouTube, whatever,
and you can watch it,
and you watch it, and it's like, all right, great, I made this movie, it's complete because I have a link and I can send it to you. And it's in high def and blah 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 and all that. And they're like, great. A distributor or a buyer, sales agent will come to you and say, great. Now we would like the movie. Now we need this, and they'll email you, like a 2-page document of all your deliverables, and that you got to have your ProRes master, which is your movie, and then you also got to have one that has a text-to-list version. Then you have to deliver, your music and effects tracks, and all the and the video and the audio have to pass through, QC. So if there's going to be kickbacks, you're gonna.
What's QC?
Like quality control. There's people in rooms that you have to pay a lot of money, and a lot of platforms will require it. iTunes and whatever platform is going to ask for a QC report, and many of them will need to do their own QC, and it's expensive, and they'll come back to you with like a 15-page report, and they'll say, there's footsteps at 5 minutes in and 32 seconds, we see someone's feet moving and we don't hear footsteps, and so you'll get that kickback, and then you have to go in there and like add the footsteps, or like the black levels, your luminance is too high here, and then like, so now you got to pay, like, you got to
get a colorist
to fix it, and it's like, or it's kind of a racket, because a lot of the labs will, like, that's how they make their money, like, is by telling you
all these things you have to do,
and then they'll come at you and be like, well, we could actually do it ourselves here
for cheaper,
for $5,000, and you're like. So sometimes it's better to just pay them if you have a distribution deal and get it fucking delivered. And not only that, and then that's like the tip of the iceberg. You have your chain of title, which is expensive to get, and that's just basically to prove.
Talk about what a chain of title is.
Chain of title is basically like your paper trail of like who, like, because if you sell a script to a producer. And it's not really when they're selling. It's really when the movie's getting delivered is when you need your chain of title, and it's basically a legal document, and usually a lot of times scripts will have multiple writers on it, and it'll go through this person, and it'll have this. They just want to make sure that their chain of title is clean, because that someone.
So what is a chain of title? Talk about that. What is a chain of title?
Chain of title is just a series of legal documents, whatever legal documents of anyone that's ever the history of the script from the
who owns the story.
Who owns the story?
Kind of like a deed to a house.
Yeah, exactly.
Like who owned the house. prior, who owns it now, who's on the mortgage, who's the lender.
And no producer, that's a real producer is going to make your movie if you don't have a clean chain of title. And it's important. Let's say you've written a script with your best friend 10 years ago, and now you're not friends with that friend anymore or whatever, and something happened, and now you have the script, and someone wants to make your movie, and the producer will, well, who else was involved? Because this person, let's say you go and make that movie, this person can come out of the woodwork and say, I wrote that script, it's mine, and I'm going to sue you. So it's really coming from a liability standpoint.
Yeah.
To know that.
So clean chain of title means that you have a clean record of everybody who owns the script and who owns the script now.
Yes, exactly. And
then so clean chain of title would mean the producer or the company that's making the movie is owning the script and the rights to the script and nobody else.
Yeah, exactly. It means the rights are good. Everyone that at one point was attached to the film, like, has signed off on it. No one has an option. You didn't take out an option. And I made that mistake. Bad mistake. Which I would recommend, because if you're hustling, if you're a screenwriter, you're out there hustling, you're trying to network, a producer will come to you and they'll say, I want to option your script, and you're like, great, I'll sign this piece of paper, and then nothing happens, and then someone's looking for a script. Hey, you got a script? Like, yeah, I got the script. Like, oh, I'll do an option, and then, oh, great, I'll sign the option, and then, like, be careful what you sign. But at the same time, you also have to sign in order for the things to happen. But make sure you don't want to get yourself in trouble optioning a screenplay to two people at the same time. Very bad.
Does that happen to you?
Yeah. It was an error.
Because you optioned it to somebody who said I was going to do something that they didn't, so you optioned it to somebody else who.
I thought the option. I thought it expired because I hadn't looked at it for so long.
You want to just for the audience that doesn't know what an option means on a script, you want to just quickly say.
Oh yeah. So an option
is when you write a script. Is when it's finished and you own it and you get it registered
and a producer comes to you and they say usually. Not the money person themselves, or sometimes it is, but they say, look, I think I can get this movie made. I want you to sign an agreement that basically gives me the rights to go out and
raise money for this movie.
Yeah, raise money or do whatever. I get an actor, get it.
Or try to sell the script to a studio or production company.
Exactly. You're giving somebody else the option and the rights, usually the exclusive rights,
for some time,
for a period of time, which 6 months to 2 years, wherever, whatever they want for, hopefully some amount of money, but a lot of times for nothing or $1,
or for when the movie gets made, then you get paid.
Exactly. A lot of times, unless it's a big studio, don't expect a big payout for an option.
What's a average time frame for option to give?
I mean,
to a producer, like, hey, I'm gonna make your movie.
If I honestly, I would say you don't want to go beyond a year. I mean, a year. If someone says, look, I can get your movie made, you're like, great, I'll give you a year. Like, if you can't, like, but look, if something happens within that year, they'll usually have a condition where they could extend the option,
or you can pull out.
But make sure that the language that you can exit the option at some point cleanly, because the last thing you want to do is option your script and then have a shitty. And here's the thing: so if you sign an option and the option expires, that option is now forever a part of that chain of title. So that document is going to get scrutinized. So you don't want to sign an option with shitty language for you, where it's like you give a producer a year and then the option elapses, but maybe there's some language in there that says, but if so-and-so had any sort of connection to how this movie got made,
they get some money.
They get some money, and then
then it's no longer a clean chain of title.
Yeah, it's no longer a clean chain of title. And now you got a producer that has to deal with this person. You know, it's like the skeleton. It's like the skeletons in your closet. So read those documents carefully, and know that anytime you sign something, that you're adding to the chain of title for for the future.
Another thing that's part of this part of delivering your movie is
there's still even more. I didn't even was still going on that one.
Especially when you have an actor that's going to bring a lot of foreign sales, they're gonna want to have the movie in different languages.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, for foreign, that's why you need your M&E track, which is all your music and effects, a clean track.
Yeah, of individual
sound. And here's the thing about it: people think, oh, that's easy. We'll just take out the dialogue. A vast majority of your sound effects in your movie happen during the dialogue or
layered over.
Yeah. So you have to have a complete M&E for France or whatever territory, any other language.
Can you explain what M&E means?
It's M&E is an audio file.
What is it? Do you know what it stands for? M&E?
Music and effects. And you need to have so that lines up perfectly with the movie. Every single effect. And what makes it hard is because the M&E that track has to be fully filled. So if an actor is, for instance, opening a doorknob or walking or something, and that production audio, that sound effect has to be recreated artificially for this complete M&E, which makes it even harder because it's like
matching.
Exactly, like in the American version, the doorknob sounded like this, but in this version it sounded differently. That's because that sound effect was not coming from production audio. It was created by either a Foley or usually a library.
Library, yeah. You want to talk about? You want to just give a quick what a Foley is?
Foley is a crazy art.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched any videos of or been in the studio where guys creating sounds?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it done.
Why don't you pull up some video on YouTube real quick, Tori, about Foley? Just mute the computer and everything.
Yeah, it's crazy. You got guys like beating, scrapping
rubber gloves with rocks and like a big palm leaf and then crumbling and then you look and it's or footsteps, and
it's incredible. And here's the thing: you could actually, it's like you can get away with so much.
Library.
That too, but I'm saying like just being creative with because nobody knows what the sound is when this thing happens unless it's like a common sound. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of, the audience will.
Yeah, put it on high res.
You want the sound on, right?
Yeah, put the high res. Yeah, that's good. And boost up the audio on the on the player. In the player of the YouTube.
Okay. Let me just boost.
It's on the left. Yeah, that's good.
People are often puzzled that this isn't all done by computer.
In order to get the right feel of a character, you need to really know how they're feeling.
It's such a crazy art, dude. It's incredible.
Props and recorded precisely for that film.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
Credited as Foley artist.
The art of putting sound effects to picture after a film has already been shot.
See that big gust of wind on the right, so I got to focus on that and get that perfectly, each little flutter happening right there. Now it's cut to a huge close-up
when they shoot a film, the sound is concentrated on the actor's dialogue. So we go back and recreate all these sounds for drama and detail, and just to bring the film to life.
It's amazing.
We perform
all right, Tori.
Yeah,
thanks, bud.
Sound effects library.
Yeah, no, I mean that is so fucking crazy.
Do you remember the first time you walked into a Foley studio and you're watching them do some of these effects, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening here?"
Yeah, I mean it's really now. I mean,
but there's so much in libraries now.
I mean, there's so many fucking. And here's the thing about a library, like. You can take a sound from a library and manipulate it and make it different from what it is in the library. So that's usually reserved for when you have
bigger
a budget. Yeah.
When you have a budget, yeah.
When you have a budget, because I mean, if you are like, all right, I need footsteps or I need a horse sound or a cape.
Yeah.
You know,
go to library.
Go to
$5.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to Foley.
And there's 9 million fucking options. Yeah, exactly. So. If you can hire a Foley artist, I've worked with many sound designers, and they have tremendous libraries. And they're fantastic. So
you've yet to hire a Foley artist?
I've yet to hire. I've never had anyone be like, all right, we're gonna have this person's gonna do Foley. It's usually a guy like, yeah, I have fucking 10 terabytes of sound effects. Like we're good. Like
I got everything you need.
Yeah. You need horse stomping. I've got 200.
700.
I got 700 versions of that.
Yeah,
so like, what's
So you got Bruce attached. You got a good producer. He's got a relationship, and I'm kind of going back to Reactor, of course, your most recent movie, and talk about how. So, you got shot in February. It's pretty recent. Still kind of through pandemic.
Yeah.
Fucking COVID.
Fucking COVID.
When did you knew? After Bruce was attached, that was when? What year? When there was like a soft yes.
2020.
Okay.
Pandemic.
And like mid-pandemic or something like that. Like
yeah.
Summer or something. I think I saw like a post when we were shooting the movie in Vegas. I saw on your Facebook, Cohn announced to direct Bruce Willis.
Something came out. Yeah, like the Hollywood Reporter.
That's nice. That's nice. I sent you. I don't know if you remember. I was like, yeah, brother, there you go, crushing it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, and that's. I've also had. I've had shit announced in the trades that never happened as well. So
well, I'm glad this happened.
Yeah, it's it's like different degrees. It's like even it's like just because something is announced, even if it's announced in fucking Time magazine,
doesn't mean shit.
Doesn't mean shit. Like.
So when did you lock dates? By that time you were probably like, all right, we're pretty fucking close.
The dates, well, that's the thing. The dates kept getting pushed.
Was it mainly Bruce's schedule availability or
all sorts of like this thing or that thing, just different reasons. But that that happens on pretty much every movie. Unless you're the money guy and you're like, I'm shooting a movie and I'm making it happen on these dates and this is the money and blah blah blah. But it's always tough when you're lining even schedules up.
Yep. So you finally get the green light. You have your crew locked in. You know who you're working in. How were you involved with who you picked as a crew? Were you able to bring somebody that you wanted to work with, or you were kind of lone wolf?
On this particular one, there was the
Canadian crew.
The Canadian production company. It was a crew. The crew was based out of Atlanta and Nashville. I had not actually worked with any of the crew, but they turned out to be fantastic. And I got along really well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was sort of like
prior to principal photography, did you guys have like tech scouts or any days for prep that you met the crew and you're like, who you're getting in bed with, or
a little bit? I was trying to get out there.
Where did you shoot, by the way?
Georgia. I was trying to get out there. Yeah, I was trying to get there a little bit earlier. It would have been nice to have a little bit more prep, but just the way everything sort of came together, that was sort of kind of hit the ground running type of situation. But I mean, the DP is awesome.
What did you shoot on, Alexa?
Two Geminis, two red Geminis, but on Cook anamorphic glass. We were originally gonna shoot at, on the Alexa yeah, they were like harder to get for some or more expensive, and
they're more expensive and harder to get. Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, the Gemini and red cameras in general I own one. I think they're fantastic.
How do you feel about the Komodo that just came out?
We had a Komodo as a C cam on Reactor. I like the Komodo.
I mean, for $6,000, right? You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you got to.
That's a full frame cinema camera for $6,000.
Global shutter. It really is. And I mean,
let's do it. Shout out to Red.
Shout out to Red.
And shout out to Ari and Alexa. Both.
Both top of the line. Yeah,
top of the line. I mean, front horse of the film industry.
Yeah. I mean, most studio movies are shot on the Alexa, but quite a few are shot on Red cameras. And Red and I mean, but it really comes down to your lenses.
Yeah.
At that point. Yeah. And your color grading.
And you shot on Cook
anamorphics. Beautiful. Wow. I mean, fucking amazing glass. Glass makes more of a difference.
Yeah.
Than like if it's between a red with awesome glass or Ari with shitty glass. I mean, people are like, oh, what's shitty glass? What's good glass? Like, there's different textures and qualities and you can do stuff with super cheap photo lenses. So don't get caught up. Just make your movie. But if you have the budget, it's nice to have super sweet cine glass.
So you show up on set. You shot on Red. You're there first day of principal photography. You guys had a little bit of prep, a little bit of tech scout and whatnot, and you said you wish you had more. But let's talk about a little bit how when you get somebody as big as Bruce Willis attached to a picture, like you've had 12 days to shoot the whole thing.
Yeah.
So did you guys shoot 6 days, 1 day off, 6 days, 1 day off, or?
No, it was
5 days on, 2 days off.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah, like
and
4
then like
or 2, like, and then we had like 2 or 3 days off, and then
another 5 or something.
Yeah, something like that. I think we had like two. I think we had 2 spots where we had off days.
All right, so you get somebody like Bruce comes on set. You basically, this is kind of interesting to tell people because I've experienced this now shooting in Vegas, where we also had an actor attached to the film who was there for the business side of who's going to sell the movie, right? So we got him for 2 days. We got to shoot him out, basically, meaning get all of his coverage and everything. I wish we had the budget to go chronologically and whatever, but dream on. And you're on a $6 to $10 million budget. You got Bruce, arguably one of the biggest movie star action, Die Hard, whatnot. So you get him, and how many days did you have to shoot him out?
2 half days.
2 half days.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he he's a star. I mean, that's the thing when you I mean, you gotta schedules is all based around, you know, Bruce. I mean, he's a star.
Why the half day? It seems.
You know, I mean, I think for him,
for his pace, he just was like, we can.
You know, I mean, if I was him, I'd probably do the same thing. You know, you know, I mean, 12 hours is a long, is a long day. Someone was like, hey, do you want to do one full 12-hour day or 2 half days? I'd probably go, you know what? Let's do 2 half days
and get what we need.
And it's I think it's better for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
I mean.
So you shot him out in 2 days, all of his scenes with all of his dialogues and everything. How big is? Can you talk about how big is and pivotal is his role in the movie at all?
He's the main bad guy.
Oh, he played the bad guy.
Yeah, he played the bad guy, which is, you know, he doesn't, you know, it's not, you know, the
common.
Yeah,
that's not his. Yeah, that's not his shtick.
So,
so talk about it a little bit. How was it working with Bruce when you guys first met, sat down, and talked about the movie and the script and what's happening with the character and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, Bruce, I mean, you know, he's such a pro. I mean, he knows, you know, he's been doing this
40 years,
you know, a long time. So, I mean, you know, you deal with someone that's been, you know, on that level, you know, usually, you know, you got to feel them, you know, you want to make sure they're comfortable, and you know, you make sure you explain your vision, and this is what, you know, I'm thinking that the scene is, and also allow, you know, the chance to collaborate creatively, have a conversation, and, you know, sometimes you'll have those conversations, sometimes you won't. I mean, and sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you shouldn't. Sometimes it's just, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what we're gonna, you know, where the cameras are gonna be, and you know.
You shot 3 cameras when you were shooting him.
2. We shot him in 2. Yeah, the Komodo. We only used when we
like a crash cam.
No, when we went on Ronin. So that was just built on, and for people who don't know, the Ronin is like a steady cam, which is basically a stabilizing system.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think anybody listening to this or watching this should know what the fucking steady cam is.
If you don't know what a fucking steady cam is,
yeah, you gotta go really back to
turn this podcast off and go back to fucking square one. No, just kidding. But yeah, so the Komodo, we had 2 Geminis on Bruce, and yeah, I mean, when you have an actor and you have a lot of stuff to shoot, you have to shoot their stuff, and you go back and you shoot the rest of the scene without them, because you have a lot of stuff to do
with them.
So
you kind of have to juggle the schedule of like, I'm going to shoot this with him, and then go on coverage on somebody else when maybe he's not even around.
Oh yeah, of course, you use a double. Yeah, I mean, when you have someone
that
big, unless you're a big studio and you have a big budget
where you can pay him.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, we're gonna be here for 2 weeks, and you know, we're gonna shoot this scene, that scene, because you know there's a bunch of stars in the movie and it's a huge budget. But on an independent budget,
what do you think is the line for the independent? Because look, for a lot of people, I would think like a lot of people are going to say like $6 to $9 million. Like, is that an independent film? You know,
definitely, yeah. I mean,
I understand. Me and you were like, oh yeah, for sure, that's an indie. But for a lot of people, they were like, oh damn, like.
I mean, there's different. I mean, at the same time, there's different studios. There's smaller studios. But if we're talking about like these studios and
like a Hollywood studio versus like Sony, Universal, or anything.
Yeah,
Fox.
that's usually what we're talking about, and
that's studio. Yeah,
and yes, they have subsidiary companies and they're making independent movies, under that umbrella, because every
like Fox Searchlight, for example, right?
Exactly. Could you say Fox Searchlight Picture or A24 Picture is an independent film? Yeah, that's a bit, but
they're the bigger.
Yeah, they're not tentpole features, Justice League, which I just started watching the 4-hour version.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's cut. It's pretty fucking pretty intense.
Dope.
Pretty dope. It's pretty dope. I mean, I'm barely through it. It's 4 hours, which is a long fucking movie. But there's some movies out. I mean,
how did they shoot it for? Like, how did they shot a movie and then 2 years later or whatever, they were able to make a whole nother movie out of what they shot that never made it? You know, I wonder if that was always the plan, that he was eventually going to have like this like director's cut that's going to come out. That was going to be a 4-hour movie, because think about it. If you shot a movie, right, all the new scenes and everything that was in it that didn't make it into the movie, like I wonder what did the script look like in the beginning, because they shot all this stuff.
Well, I guess, I mean,
so it must have been kind of a script for this 4-hour long movie. And he was like, yeah, but I can make a 2-hour version of what I really wanted to do, so everybody's happy.
Well, I think from what I understand, you know, when I guess Zack Snyder, and then he had to exit the project, and Joss Whedon came on and did his version, and Zack was like, no, I don't, you know, that wasn't the movie I intended to make. So he went and shot a bunch of other new shit, mixed it in with some of the stuff, and now, in this whole new movie, and I mean, it makes sense. Like, I understand like how that could happen, but it's fucking crazy. But
it's pretty. Yeah,
I don't think I'm not gonna be making any 4-hour movies. I would make
look at James Cameron making what 4 or 5 movies in the right? Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's been making it for the last 10 years.
Oh my god! Yeah.
I guess Avatar. Tori, where's Avatar 2 set out to be released?
He's got 2 and 3 that's gonna come out, and then he's working on 4 and 5.
And when is 2 and 3 set out to be released?
Now they're always like pushing it, but I think it's summer of next year now.
Okay.
Jesus.
And then 3 is like that winter.
When are we gonna see? So okay, let's go back to set of Reactor. You're working with Bruce. You're having a blast. You know, is this the biggest movie you've done budget wise? Up until in your career?
Yeah, I would say so.
How much was the Lynyrd, the Street Survivors?
That was like $1.5 million.
Nice. Okay. Decent budget for an independent film.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You know, and I mean, I've worked on movies that had no budget, and you know, so I'm, you know, I don't take anytime someone's like, hey, we're gonna trust you to direct, you know, something, and you know, it's $50,000, but it's still $50,000.
Yeah,
that's, you know, you can.
It's a lot of money for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
lot of money for me.
It's a lot of money. I mean, you know, $1 million is a lot of money. $50,000 is a lot of money. You know, you got to respect the money.
So you're on set, having fun, shooting movie. It's going well. Any hiccups or anything that you were hoping that was going to go differently, or anything that you had to adjust on the fly?
Had to change the script. I had to do a rewrite because the movie was set at a nuclear power plant, and no longer. And then the amount of the movie, I won't say what it is. The movie is no longer at a nuclear power plant. Hence the name Reactor, which it probably is going to change. So if you're listening to this and you search Reactor, it's gonna. I don't know what the new title is going to be called. It might still be called Reactor. Who knows?
Interesting.
But
little suspense here from the director. All right, man.
When the trailer comes out,
can you tell what was the reason of not being able to use the nuclear reactor scenario concept anymore?
Apparently, it's illegal to film at a nuclear reactor, and to film at an abandoned, decommissioned reactor it's
illegal.
There's like the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC. They don't take kindly, I guess, to
you couldn't make a set, build a. Oh,
that was one of the things. It turned out to be very cost prohibitive to build a nuclear reactor. That was
hey, turns out it costs a lot of money to build a nuclear reactor, even a fake one.
Yeah. So that option was explored.
God damn it.
And oh yeah, you're good. Damn.
It's like the second time today.
Man.
12 days. How many pages?
Oof.
What was the total count on the script?
You know.
Hold on. So that's a pretty big curveball. So halfway through shooting,
Oh no, before shooting. Oh.
Before shooting, the rewrite happened?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it was like we can't find a reactor, and I was like, oh fuck, the movie's not gonna happen. Anything that comes up, any little red flag, I'm always like,
shit's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
How long ago? How many days before principal photography? They're like, you can't shoot a nuclear reactor. Actually,
I mean,
months, weeks, days.
About a month or so. Yeah.
Fuck. So Bruce is locked in. Everything budget, everything locked in, and like
you can't find a fucking nuclear reactor. Yeah. You can't find a fucking nuclear. Not one. Not anywhere.
In U.S.
In the U.S.
How about Canada?
It was
no.
But the thing about I don't think that was brought up. I mean, different states were brought up in different areas, and it was like we almost had a lead on this one place, which is like a band. Like you can film at a nuclear reactor. It's just like it's got to be like
by the book and
decommissioned, and you got
too much money.
Yeah, and
it would eat up too much money of the budget.
Yeah, it's like it is possible, but yeah, it's very difficult, and. So yeah, we just had they were like, well, we got this other location, and they were like, you're gonna have to rewrite it for this, and I was like, okay, I just, you just gotta do it, it's like you can huff and puff and at the end of the day, like
you want to make the movie.
Yeah, you want to make the movie. So a lot of people.
Was there ever a situation that you can remember when you were in the movie where you were forced, kind of not forced, but where you were faced with a situation like that, where you were like, no, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's been a few, on different movies where, I've just said, no, like that's just gonna be ridiculous. Like we're gonna do it like this, and a lot of times, sometimes it's a script, like. Calls for something and you read it, you may read it, you may be like, oh, that's not fucking happening, like we can't do that, like, but you still have to shoot like that point of the story, so like you got to creatively think, okay, well, in the script, he gets on a fucking boat and there's a shootout, but then the boat lands and he goes to the building. So it's like, well, we don't have the budget for a fucking boat. So it's like, all right, well, how about he's driving? How about it's a car chase? And it's like, well, we don't have any fucking cars. So it's like, all right, well,
he walks in.
Yeah. How about he fucking runs and it's like. There's a way to tell your story. You don't need a fucking helicopter crash, which is, would be sick. Like, by all means, if you can crash a helicopter, crash a fucking helicopter. Crash two.
Yeah.
If you're Christopher Nolan, you're
crashing a 747 into a building.
There you go. If you're fucking Christopher Nolan, you can probably
do whatever the fuck you want.
Do whatever the fuck you want. But if you're Jared Cohn, not yet.
Not crashing helicopters just yet.
Yeah.
You'll get there, brother. I believe in you.
I would want to crash a helicopter. Why not?
Yeah.
That would be sick. But, I mean.
So, overall experience on the Reactor, working with Bruce, was a great.
It was fucking sick. Yeah. I mean,
you think you might work together again?
That's the plan is, hopefully there's a.
You got something cooking? You got something working?
Cooking? Got something.
Writing or already written?
Well, written.
Yeah.
Written.
You think you're gonna push it back to put it in front of Bruce?
It's yeah. I mean, I don't nothing. I don't want to say I can't confirm anything. as of yet, but there is
an opportunity,
a project in the burner. Hopefully, you know, I'm never gonna say, yeah, this is definitely happening.
Yeah, I can tell. I already know. I know. Yeah.
Unless I'm like going to 7-Eleven, I'm like, yes, I'm definitely going to 7-Eleven after this, and I'm buying a fucking, you know, string cheese, like, because I'm, you know, I'm gonna buy it with my money, and I know for sure. Like, I can never say anything definite because as soon as I do, it's fucked. That's when you get a phone call, and it's like, hey man, yeah, sorry about that. That thing's not happening. Good luck.
Yeah. But you've had those calls, and then you took it and you went somewhere else, and you were still trying to pushing, right? Like Reactor was, you know, you said 2013 when you first, right? That's the first draft or whatever.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
Yeah, I just want to
remember that. Yeah, that was crazy.
I just want to point that out there again. Just reiterate the point. Like, you know, sometimes it's worth it to be patient and work on a project and then just get an idea. Everybody, how long does it take to fucking bring something to light? I mean, you made a rewrite.
Yeah.
A month before principal photography. Budget's in, crew's locked in, everybody's ready to go shoot, you know, go have fun.
Yep. And then just like that, you know, the whole fucking.
Do you got any horror story from that shoot? Anything you want to that you can, not a horror story, but like anything funny maybe that happened and you're like, oh shit, how the fuck did this happen?
I mean,
you know,
well, I mean, one funny thing out there is we were shooting, we were, you know, shooting out of sequence, of course, and so we're doing a scene from the end of the movie early on, and the character had, you know, he's fighting. I mean, it's a violent action movie. It's got, you know, it's kick-ass. It's got a lot of fights, a lot of gun action and hand-to-hand.
Who was your stunt coordinator on the movie?
It was this guy Bobby Lannon, and he was great.
LA guy?
No, he's from Detroit, but he works in Atlanta, which Atlanta's popping. I mean,
yeah,
fucking Atlanta's popping. Like, more shit gets shot in Atlanta than LA.
Oh, for sure, big time.
Yeah.
All the Marvel movies, everything.
Everything's fucking. I mean,
or well, basically Pinewood, right?
Well, around
Pinewood, London, Toronto, LA, Australia, pretty much everything gets shot.
Yeah.
Everywhere else but LA.
Yeah. Like LA is.
This is where the meetings happen. This is where the money are. This is where the people with money live. And then when you actually work on something, you go out of LA.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's like LA has lost its foothold, is grip on, and a lot of production companies, like, people are leaving LA. Like LA needs like if fucking get it together. Like, be like, you have the opportunity to become like the movie epicenter. Like, you had it, and you're letting it all slip out.
Well, it's expensive here.
Super fucking expensive.
Labor's expensive. The warehouses are expensive. So the sound stages, you know, or the land is expensive. So the sound stages are expensive. Taxes are a huge issue.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. So when you go to a state like, let's say, Nevada, or Utah, or Arizona, Atlanta, Georgia, you get tax incentives. So the filmmaker, you know, who has $1 million to shoot his feature, and he's going to get $300,000 tax credit, you know, towards his film, and or incentive. Well, where are you going to go? Well, you're going to go where $1 million movie is going to cost you $700,000, because you can take the extra $300,000 and use it for post or secured a better actor, or, you know, it's going to help to sell your movie better.
Yeah, I mean, LA, I love it.
I feel like late night shows like Ellen DeGeneres and Jimmy Kimmel and like, you know, sitcoms and things like that, or like, you know, it was like the Big Bang Theory shot, and like things like that are shot on the sound stages here in LA, and music and a lot of music videos. A lot of them are
moving. Yeah, I mean, just so much stuff is just being shot. It's just way cheaper. I mean, if you're a filmmaker, if you can make a film cheaper somewhere and get a tax credit, and like, it's just easier, do that. Like, it just
and the
makes
unions here in LA, right? Dealing with the unions here in LA too.
Fucking yeah. I mean,
how much of all the stuff that you shot, what would you say was the portion you shot in LA versus you shot outside of LA?
Man, at this point, I'd probably say. I'd say probably like, I mean, almost maybe half
of stuff you shot
here,
outside of
half,
LA.
Yeah, like half outside in terms of like time spent on those projects. Like, maybe I've done some like more movies in total, but like I spent a lot of fucking time because like when you go on location, you don't just go there the day before you're shooting. Sometimes you're there fucking a month before. You know, I did 3 movies in Bangkok, which was sick.
Thailand
is fucking.
How was that, man? How was adjusting to like a culture and everything?
Thailand is sick. Yeah, I would go back.
Was the financing also international? Was it like a Southeast Asian financing,
no,
or was it a completely American production company?
This was American money. It was the production service company was both a company that had offices in Bangkok and here in LA.
And they were like, let's go shoot in Bangkok. It's going to be 10 times cheaper.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, the crew is like, it's fucking, they're animals. Like, they work like, they're
16 hours a day.
Yeah, they just go hard. They go hard. I mean, crews, like, yeah, it's a different mentality. Which is a great experience. Like,
well, as long as you don't have to work every day 16 hours with them, it's like, well, exactly. Guys, come on.
Yeah, and I mean, I got mad respect for the crew, like just carrying shit and moving equipment. Like, man, it's hard. That's fucking hard. Like, I do that. I just did this music video, and it was tiny crew, and I was lugging a gear, and man, I don't like doing that shit. Like, I'm my body's just fucking like.
That's hard work.
It's hard. It's hard. It's manual fucking labor, and like people need to, like the guy, like the grips, and the camera team, and like setting up the lights.
G&E, whole swing, man. And everybody. Yeah,
those guys are hardcore. Like, it's hard work. It's physical, and you gotta, you gotta have respect for the crew.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
All right, what are we gonna close on? So Reactor is in the post.
Reactor's in post.
How do you overall feel about your experience with it? You're closing out, like, I'm sure you're super proud of the work you've done.
I mean, I feel good. I think we made a cool movie.
When do you think the audience can? When is Reactor going to be out, and when do you think, and where is it going to be out? Do you think is it theatrical, or is it going to be on demand, or?
It probably, I hope it'll probably be like Netflix. Hopefully, get some love. On the platforms. Maybe maybe like limited theatrical. I can see possibly, but.
Do you have any say over any of this, like as a director, after the movie, if you're done with the directing part, like, hey, we should really have a premiere? And
I put together premieres and convince some producers to put on premieres. I mean, a premiere doesn't really do shit. It's an opportunity to post some photos and
get some publicity for the
publicity. It's nice to do. It's nice to have a premiere. It's nice to have just like it's nice to have a rap party. Like, you don't fucking need one, but
Did you guys had a good rap party on the
Reactor? We had a great fucking rap party. That day.
Oh, there's a story coming. I can see it.
It was funny because we still had a day left of filming after the rap party, so. I went to this rap party and I had, enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
Then was working the next day, and
it was hard.
That was hard. That was probably the hardest fucking day of the shoot because I was fucking
hungover.
I was hungover.
Everybody was.
Everybody was.
Yeah.
It was a great rap party, but it was just because of the nature of the schedule.
You had to throw the rap party before the day of the shoot because everybody was gone afterwards, right?
Yeah, it was like we had this one little bit to film, and people were leaving, so it was like, all right, we're gonna have the rap party. But cool. I was like,
you got any pickups that you're gonna need to get for the movie?
I don't think so. I think
incredible.
I'm pretty good at and that's just from experience, knowing hey, we're gonna need something here to like, you're gonna need this insert, or like,
yeah,
like you're gonna really wish you had this, like, and through time, like knowing. But I don't think we're gonna need any. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, but at the same time, like if there's something that's not working, like
they'll probably be like, hey, let's get this.
You can cut. Well, either that or okay, hey, can you make it work without it? Cut around it.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that you just cut something else out, and then you cut, and then you can make it work. I mean, you can. There's 9 million ways to edit a movie,
Few quick questions before we let you go, brother. Is what do you look for? You write scripts, but what do you look for in a project when you're deciding on taking it on or not?
I mean, now, I look for like cool stories.
Do you usually know within like 10 pages, 15 pages of the script, like, yep, this is great.
Yeah, I mean,
this is going well.
I can tell something like it is like, oh shit, this is like like I'll read something a lot, oftentimes it's a genre, a lot of, there's nothing wrong with that being a genre piece, whether whether sci-fi movie or something like a thriller, like, but like when I read, if it's very rarely like do those projects like come, but they come real, like they don't like, but that's why I want to do those more like real stories, like there's just something more artistically and like validating or fulfilling, like doing, the Lynyrd Skynyrd movie was a great example because of, it was such a responsibility, because these are real people's lives, and like I'm not making this shit up, like this really happened, people really fucking died on a plane crash, and I'm telling this guy's story. So as a filmmaker, it's responsibility. And I read this other script that my buddy's, who's producer, let me read, and it's a true story about this, very famous incident. It was but like brutal, like gut wrenching shit. I'm like, this is great, like, but at the same time, like those are harder. You don't really get those opportunities, very rare, like, because usually if you work your way up doing genre pictures, unless you're Damien Chazelle and you're you do fucking
La La Land,
Whiplash, and then La La Land. Yeah.
Did you like First Man? The Neil Armstrong story. I thought it was great.
I thought it was.
I thought a lot of people didn't like it for some reason.
I think just for me, it was just like Whiplash was so great, and La La Land I thought was awesome. I know a lot of people were whatever, and then First Man, I was just like if it wasn't Damien Chazelle, like I feel like La La Land and Whiplash for me were more for me more interesting pictures. I'm just I was watching for First Man. It didn't hit me like Whiplash. I was like, this is fucking great. Like J.K. Simmons like annihilated that role. I couldn't take your eyes off him.
Miles Teller.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was credible.
Well, so speaking of that, what do you look for in actors? Like, how are you on with actors on set? Like, what is your process with the actors? Do you like the actor coming to you and coming up with the character and the backstory of the character together, or you know, do you send them the script and then they read for you and they can like, yeah, that works.
I think
what's your process with the actor?
You know, it's different per, you know, every actor is different. And, you know, for roles that you're auditioning, you're like, all right, let's see what what the casting director is going to bring in, or whoever is casting. You know, you just be open. Like, you kind of see it when you know it. You're like, oh wow, this tape is fucking great. This actor's really great, and like they stand out. Like the good actors stand out in their tape. And then sometimes you get to know the actor, you have a good relationship with the actor, and you're like, you know what, project's coming up, and then you'll be like, this fucking guy would be great, or this girl would be great for this role. And then you start, you know, you might reach out and be like, hey man, you know, or whatever, I'm doing this project, this role, you know, but you know, again, if you're working with you know, the star name, and it's like the production company's trying to get this actor, you're trying to get, it doesn't matter like what that, like oftentimes like because you don't have any say, so it doesn't really matter, like you're just happy to get that person. Like for instance, I did a movie, it was called well, now it's called Fast and Furious Death Race, but at the time it was called Into the Drift, which I think is a much cooler title. But anyway, we got DMX for a day, and it was fucking sick. So like he came in there, like the role, it was just like, it was a murmur of maybe we can get DMX, and I was like, we gotta get DMX. Like the role wasn't, you know, at all, you know, had anything to do with DMX, but it was like the opportunity to get DMX, like, and he crushed it. He was great. Like he's a great actor, and it was just so exciting to have DMX, because I'm a fan of his music, and he's a great actor, and he's fucking DMX. It's badass.
Cool, brother. Well, listen. Thanks for coming on the show and chatting with me about film and filmmaking and, you know, actors and process and everything. I think there's a lot of shit out there that people can take from.
I hope so, man.
You've done a lot of fucking movies,
you know.
So I wish you the best. Hopefully, you know, nothing but bigger and better projects.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to working together at some point too, as well.
We gotta work together on something.
Yeah,
we will.
So, all right, Jarrett. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing everything, and we'll have you back at some point.
Be a pleasure.
All right, buddy.
You.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Take care, guys.